Aaron Rodgers, once hailed as a football genius.
Rodgers spins out of pressure. Rodgers steps away. Rodgers dancing.
A four-time MVP.
Most valuable player is Aaron Rodgers.
And a Super Bowl champion. But today, the narrative has shifted. What went wrong? From Green Bay glory to a Jets disaster. Has Aaron Rodgers' career hit an irreparable wall? In this video, we'll explore his legendary rise, his recent collapse, and why his leadership might have ultimately doomed him. Aaron Rodgers wasn't just good, he was historically great. Drafted 24th overall by the Green Bay Packers in 2005, Rodgers was expected to sit behind Hall of Famer Brett Favre. But when his time came in 2008, he didn't just fill Favre's shoes, he outgrew them. Over 17 seasons with the Packers, Rodgers built a Hall of Fame resume. He racked up over 59,000 passing yards, 475 touchdown passes, and just 105 interceptions. A career touchdown to interception ratio of 4.52, the best in NFL history. His 65.3% career completion rate and a passer rating of 103.6 remain the highest among quarterbacks with at least 5,000 career attempts. But Rodgers wasn't just about stats, he was clutch. In the 2010 playoffs, Rodgers led the Packers to their first Super Bowl victory in 14 years, earning Super Bowl MVP honors. His postseason performance, including 1,094 yards, 9 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions in 4 games, highlighted his greatness. And let's not forget his NFC Championship game performance against the Bears, where he threw for over 240 yards and rushed for a critical touchdown. All this greatness came at a price, literally. In 2018, Rodgers signed a record-breaking 4-year, $134 million extension with $98.7 million guaranteed. At the time, it made him the highest-paid player in NFL history, and Rodgers delivered. Between 2018 and 2021, he won back-to-back MVP awards, throwing a combined 85 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions across those 2 seasons. His 48 touchdown passes in 2020 alone were the most in the league and the second most in Packers history. Rodgers' efficiency was unmatched, with his 121.5 passer rating in 2020 ranking as the second best single-season rating in NFL history. Rodgers wasn't just dominant, he was efficient. His 121.5 passer rating in 2020 ranks as the second best single-season rating in NFL history, and his ability to protect the football unparalleled. In 11 seasons as a starter, Rodgers threw double-digit interceptions only twice. Green Bay gave him the weapons, but Rodgers made them shine. Jordy Nelson, Davante Adams, Randall Cobb, these weren't just receivers. They were extensions of Rodgers' genius on the field. Under his leadership, the Packers reached the playoffs 11 times, secured 4 NFC Championship appearances, and posted 6 seasons with 12 or more wins. Despite the accolades, Rodgers wasn't without controversy. His constant clashes with Green Bay's front office over draft picks, free agent signings, and even his eventual successor, Jordan Love, hinted at a growing rift. Yet even with the drama, his on-field brilliance couldn't be denied. For over a decade, Rodgers wasn't just a quarterback, he was Green Bay's identity. In addition to his on-field achievements and off-field leadership questions, Aaron Rodgers also found himself embroiled in a public relations nightmare during the 2021 NFL season. At the center of this controversy was his infamous claim that he was immunized against COVID-19, a statement that sparked widespread backlash and raised questions about his transparency and accountability. At the time, Rodgers' choice of words was seen as intentionally vague, and the full impact became clear when he was forced to sit out 10 days after testing positive for COVID-19. The timing couldn't have been worse. His absence cost the Packers a critical game against the Kansas City Chiefs. In a 2024 biography titled Out of the Darkness: The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback reflected on the incident, expressing regret over his phrasing and how it overshadowed his legacy. According to ESPN, Rodgers stated, "If I could do it again, I would have been upfront about my allergy to PAG and my refusal to get the vaccine. But instead, critics use this against me as their primary attack." Adding an ironic twist to the saga, Rodgers joined the New York Jets in 2023, a team owned by the Johnson family, whose pharmaceutical company developed one of the COVID-19 vaccines. Critics argue that Rodgers' actions during the COVID-19 saga reflect a larger pattern of decision-making, prioritizing personal preferences over transparency and leadership. Now fast forward to 2023, when the New York Jets acquired Aaron Rodgers. They envisioned a transformative leader who would end their playoff drought. Instead, they inherited a costly mistake that has set the franchise back even further. Rodgers' tenure with the Jets was marred from the start. In the very first game of the season, he suffered a devastating Achilles tear, sidelining him for the entire year. This injury not only dashed the Jets' immediate hopes, but also raised questions about the wisdom of investing heavily in a 39-year-old quarterback. Off the field, Rodgers stirred controversy during the offseason. Reports surfaced of his dissatisfaction with the coaching staff, culminating in the mid-season firing of head coach Robert Saleh after a disappointing 2-3 start in 2024. Interim coach Jeff Ulbrich noted Rodgers' improved health, but hinted at underlying tensions within the organization. Adding to the Jets' woes, Rodgers' contract leaves them financially hamstrung, with a potential $49 million dead cap hit if they cut him and $37.5 million in payouts should they keep him. Personnel decisions, such as a controversial trade for wide receiver Davante Adams, only further highlighted the dysfunction surrounding Rodgers' presence. In recent years, Aaron Rodgers has taken to social media and his regular appearances on the Pat McAfee Show to address controversies, air grievances, and share his side of the story. From cryptic Instagram posts to long-winded monologues, Rodgers hasn't shied away from speaking his mind, often sparking further debates rather than putting issues to rest. On the Pat McAfee Show, Rodgers regularly discusses everything from his team dynamics to philosophical musings, but these appearances often create as much controversy as they resolve. His comments on team leadership, vaccination debates, and even his own mental health have sparked headlines and polarized fans. Critics argue these public statements have further alienated teammates and muddied his legacy. While Rodgers claims these platforms allow him to set the record straight, his approach has often been viewed as defensive and self-serving. Fans and analysts alike question whether these public statements detract from his focus on the game, especially during a critical period in his career. In hindsight, the Jets' gamble on Aaron Rodgers appears to have been a miscalculation. The combination of his injury, off-field controversies, and the substantial financial burden has not only failed to deliver the anticipated success, but has also impeded the franchise's progress, leaving fans and analysts questioning the decision-making at the highest levels of the organization. So what's the root cause of this unraveling? Many point to Rodgers' leadership style. While his talent is undeniable, his approach to team dynamics has been questioned for years. From public feuds with coaches to prioritizing personal accolades over team cohesion, Rodgers' leadership has often come under fire. In his prime, his skill masked these issues, but as age and injuries caught up with him, his inability to rally a team became more apparent. According to CBS Sports, the Jets' struggles go beyond Rodgers' injury. His presence hasn't helped the fractured locker room. Countless NFL fans on Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms share their lack of faith in Aaron Rodgers, showing how over time he has deteriorated his reputation. Aaron Rodgers, a once-in-a-generation talent, might have played his last meaningful snap. He hasn't made the Pro Bowl since 2021, nor has he led a team deep into the playoffs since 2020. With the Jets, his record stands at an unremarkable 5 wins and 12 losses, sidelined after just 4 snaps in his first season and starting all games in 2024 in what was supposed to be a season of redemption. Injuries are part of the game, but attitude and leadership define legacies. Unfortunately for Rodgers, his actions off the field might overshadow his achievements on it. What do you think? Has Aaron Rodgers' career finally come to an end? Let us know what you think in the comments so you can stay behind the blitz.